What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is Agree to Disagree. Phillies split series with the Marlins. That's not fun to talk about, but hey, we'll take it at this point. But Sixers, free agency, draft, we're discussing it all. Let's go.
Uncle Sweeps, Nick Delgado, the legendary Brian Wilson, and the fucking man himself, Tom Arnone. These three guys from Jersey bringing you real talk with no agenda. You don't like them? Tough shit. It's their show, and they're going to say whatever the hell they goddamn want.
Welcome in, everybody. This is Agree to Disagree, only on HUD Radio. Every Sunday, we are brought to you by our doc. Make them yours. That's Dr. Paul Vidal. Specialized physical therapy, location in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them around on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. As always, that's Greg Milakovic. I'm Tom Arnone. No Brian Wilson, no Nick Delgado tonight. But we're here, and we're talking everything from Crumb of the week at the end of the show. Phillies split with the Marlins, down 6-2 today. You take the big comeback. You get out of town, per se, with a split against a team that feel like they own you. But hey, you'll take it down the guys you're down right now. So it could be worse. You lose that game, you really feel bad about yourselves. We'll talk about it later on the show. Sixers draft recap. Obviously, we talked about the first round pick in McCain, but we'll talk about everything else that went on in the draft throughout the show as well. But I mean, let's free agency hit the clock at 6 p.m. tonight. 6 p.m. tonight, baby. Sixers free agency began. Andre Drummond back in the house. Okay, I think everybody should be happy with that one. Mm-hmm. Eric Gordon, minimum. You'll take that for a minimum. Why not? I'll take him for a minimum. Absolutely. Why? It can't hurt. So you see what else they start to do here. Now, the main question, because it's been the hot guy around. This is what the talk's been all about. The Sixers should be all in on Paul George. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcast there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. Most importantly, join the conversation tonight. All in on Paul George, baby? It's hard to say because of what's out there. What's out there, how can you not be all in on Paul George? Make sense? And how you're starting to build your roster with two guys you brought in. How can you not be all in on Paul George? So, and obviously we're getting the reports the Sixers are all in. But should they be? Yeah, I think so. Because you're trying to win. You're trying to win. I'm not saying he put you over the top, but he makes you a lot better than Tobias Harris does. Makes you a lot better for that money than Tobias Harris does. And that's factual. So who else are you bringing in? He's going to get completely younger by getting older with Drummond and Gordon and other older veterans you're going to try to bring back here. Make sense? Or are you trying to win right now with Embiid, Maxey, Paul George, and whoever else you bring back in? I mean, I'm not the biggest PG guy, right? But he's still better than Tobias Harris and a lot better. A lot better. We still have a pulse, per se, in big games. And he doesn't have to be the main guy here. Doesn't have to be the main guy. And he's a good three-point shooter. So isn't that what we're looking for? Are we looking for a guy who can stretch it too with Maxey and Embiid? I mean, you think he'd be a perfect fit as the third guy, right? I know you're not paying him third guy money, but he's still the third guy, right? Still the third guy. So if he gives you 20 plus a night, we feeling good? And it's like an eye test 20, not like a Tobias. Come on. What else are we going? Are we in the win or are we not in the win? I don't know. Because who else? Then give me somebody else. Laurie Markkinen? Okay, but what do we have to give up to get that deal? When we see what the price you have to pay for guys of lesser value, like Bridges. Right? So do we have enough to give up to get Markkinen then? I don't know. But PG, we don't have to give anything up. And we have the money to spend. So why not spend it in what you would consider Embiid's last 2 or 3 years? Maybe it gets longer, but right now it's get a full season. So if you're trying to win it next year, who else out there gives you a better chance then on who's out there? So I'm all in. I think the Sixers should be all in. And I'm not really all in, but I'm in. It's hard to, right? I'm not really all in, but I'm in.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tommy. I agree. I agree to the poll as well. And if you would, we would have retracked this a week ago, even Wednesday and stuff. I was not necessarily all in on Paul George, right? But the fact that all he's going to cost is money right now is kind of what buys it in, right? You know what I mean? Then you also talk about what we've already done, right? Andre Drummond, I think, is a really good signing, right? I think he's the perfect backup to Joel, right?
Yeah,
you don't lose much when Joel goes to the floor like we have in the past, right? Eric Gordon, I think, is a really good signing, especially, like you said, on the league minimum, right? We're trading draft picks for Eric Gordon. I'm not so sure that I'm all in on Eric Gordon. But the fact that, again, all these guys are costing is money makes me agree to this poll. I also completely agree that I'm not a huge PG fan. I still don't think it works, right? I just think just the basketball cosmos is just not going to allow this to work, right? So I don't necessarily think it. But in terms of Jimmy Butler, you got to trade for. Laurie Markin, you got to trade for, right? Any other name that you're looking at, you got to trade for. PG only costs money, and that's one of the biggest assets that we have right now is our cap space. So in that sense, I agree. You got to go all in because, like I said, it's only going to cost money.
What do you have to lose?
Yeah, I would love it to be like that Harden deal type of thing. You know what I mean? Like that 2-year, that 3-year max deal, right? Whatever that term is. You know what I mean? Like, I would love it to be that deal. But yes, ultimately it's just money at this point.
Yeah, I don't love like giving him that long extended deal, but I'm also trying to win in the next 2 years. So, if Maxey continues to grow, like we talked about on the show the other night, there's 2 ways to go about it, right? You can be all in the win and still have a future.
Yeah.
And Tyrese Maxey gives you that future. So if you're not trading picks and you're keeping picks and you're still trying to bring guys in here and develop guys, hence like you did this year, right? And you want to keep bringing in guys like that you can get better, that are freshmen, etc., and keep building around a 23-year-old too while you're trying to win. Why not? Why can't you have it both ways? So they can do it both ways. And it's sort of what it looks like they're doing, right? So why not go all in? Why not throw a big time haymaker and give yourself the best chance to hang with the likes of Boston, New York? Because you sign them, they're right up there with those teams. Come on, let's not act like they're not. They're right up there with those teams.
And that's the other side of it too, right, Tommy, is you get a guy like Paul George coming in here. We're in the East, right? The only 2 teams that we really have to fear, or there's really one team to me, right? And that's Boston. And then you have New York and Milwaukee that are always going to be, hanging around there. Miami's going to be there, right? Yeah. But the only team that you really have to judge yourself off of is Boston. And yes, this is going to help you against Boston. It's going to help you. But Boston's still really good.
Oh, of course they are. Christian says, George wasn't my first choice, but we do need a big move. Yeah, it's not even a big move. We need wing guys, right? We need wing players. If we can get George and Oubre back, do we not feel good about this team?
Apparently, I just saw on X that George and Oubre don't like each other. So it doesn't, well, on the surface, right? Again, it's X, right? Who we all know the whatever disaster area X is, right? But it seems like on the surface that Paul George and Kelly Oubre are not fans of each other, and we probably got to choose between one or the other.
That's fun. It's fun.
This is why we can't have nice things, Tommy. This is why we can't have nice things.
Yup. Slayer says, if we do get PG, the devil's advocate would be to say to you, Greg, is that at least they would have some offseason to gel, unlike Butler and Harden. They would have an entire season to work out the kinks. Yeah, I guess there's truth to that for sure. It's better now than mid-season. No question about it. Absolutely. You need to get that. You need to get that stuff out in early November, right? When you first start playing with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christian, I don't like that news because if you tell me I'm getting Oubre back too with PG, I'm feeling good about Oubre back, Drummond, Gordon, PG to go with Maxey, Embiid, and then you just keep adding on, pieces around that.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause that bench
yeah.
right there is really good already, right? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like Oubre, Gordon, Drummond. That's a three-headed monster coming off your bench.
Yeah, well, you need more starters too.
Well, sure, yeah.
Because right now your starters, if you sign George, right now your only two starters on the roster is Maxey and Embiid.
Right.
So if you sign George, that's only your third starter. So you still need a power forward and a two guard.
Right.
Depending on how they want to work that. So they still have other moves to make.
They got a lot, yeah.
It's not that simple, but this definitely, this definitely puts you in the conversation as one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. And listen, that's all you can ask for at this point. Like, who else, guys? That's the thing. You got to trade for everybody else. They don't want to give up all the picks either. They have the money to spend. So in their eyes, like, why do they want to give up picks? Go spend the money. Go spread the money out. Go be smart with your money. They already start out being smart with their money. Cheap deal for Drummond, right? Cheap deal for Drummond. You like that move, okay? Cheap deal for Gordon. You like that move for as cheap as it is. So they're being smart with their money here. So which allows you to then say, okay, now let me go make a big move, and then fill it in from there because I still have a lot of money to move around. I got 70 million, right?
Yeah.
So you give George 35 or whatever it is, 40, I don't know what it is, but you still got
somewhere in that range, yeah.
You still got money to bring in guys. So it's not over. It's not over. I'm just trying to compete this year and moving forward. And Maxey gives me the opportunity to compete moving forward, right? And Embiid, George, and Maxey can give me the opportunity to compete right now. So why not? Nobody says he's going to get 44, Josh, but does he need to? When you have a guy like Maxey and you have a guy like Embiid? Because even with Maxey, he's not going to need to get 44. So he just needs to be able to, he needs to be able to hit open threes, right? He needs to be able to play good enough defense. And he needs to be able to get like 20. Gary says, bring back Seth Curry. I mean, I wouldn't mind him as another bench option. I don't, not as a starter.
Yeah.
But as another guy off the bench who can shoot the ball, sure. But like I said, we need wing guys right now. We need to start getting some length. We have Drummond. That's obviously a backup center in Embiid. That gives you some extra rebounds there. But now you need power forwards, right? So you need small forwards. You need everything. The whole roster's open. It's open season. It's open season. So to the poll so far, the Sixers should be all in on Paul George, and you can vote on it. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Agree, 82%. Disagree, 18%. So it's already telling you where the masses stand because we want to win or have an opportunity to win. Doesn't guarantee anything. But I'll keep saying it. With a young player, this can still sell you because he gets better every year, and it's not the end all be all if you don't win it. Because then you hope he can carry a team down the road to one, right? You hope he becomes that kind of player, right, Greg?
Absolutely.
That's what you hope for. I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying that's what you hope for.
And you can still do things outside of. Obviously, we have a lot of spots to fill, right? But just because we saw sign Paul George doesn't mean obviously that's where all our money is, right? We can still go out there and do other things. A hot name out there currently, right, is Klay Thompson, right? Yeah. What do we do with Klay Thompson? What does he do, right? Does he want to come in? And, whether Paul George is here or not, I think we are a logical good fit for Klay Thompson in a sense of there's no delusion that Klay Thompson is the player he once was, right? You know what I mean? There's no there, but you're not coming here to be that guy. You'd come here to be at best the third option, right? The other team he's rumored to is Dallas, and I think that's another great team for him to go to with how Luka and Kyrie could get into the paint and then find him spotting up. Think of what Tyrese and Joel can do with a guy like Klay Thompson sitting on the outside, being able to cherry pick a little bit, right, and bury some open shots. Now, he's obviously got to prove that he can hit those shots again, right? Last year was a rough year, but he's another guy out there that if you sign Paul, you do have the space to come back and get him.
Yeah, and you need more wing help too, like we just talked about.
Yep.
So listen, it's simple. Like I'll take flyers on all these types of guys, right, for 2-year deals, right? You want to give me, right? You want to give me Klay Thompson? I got to give him 2 years, whatever. I'll give him 2 years, right? And not a ton of money. No, that's going to come off my books at some point too.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not expecting him to be his old self. I'm just expecting him to play good enough defense for me, right, off my bench. Right, Greg? Good enough defense off my
100%.
bench. And can you hit open threes? Enough of them. Can you hit some big open threes since you've had a history of hitting big open threes?
Yeah.
That's it. All right. I'm not expecting you to be what you were in Golden State. Now nobody is because you aren't getting paid that.
Yep.
So, and you're coming off the bench. So it's different strokes. So if you can buy into that role, that would be a great addition. Right? Great addition.
Sure.
Guy just who has won at some point, and you know, it doesn't mean he's going to win here. But the more guys you can get in that have won something, I think always helps.
It's worked for the Eagles, right? You bring in a bunch of winners. You know, you bring in those guys that know how to win big games, regardless of what level they're on. You know, and the other bonus about Klay, and obviously his knee injuries potentially hinder that, but when he was Klay, he was not a parking cone on the outside too. He D'd up, right? He could play some defense, so he's not like that. You know, a parking cone wing who's just a 3-point shooter and, you know, and then just going to let you drive by him, right?
Yeah, and like, listen, even this year, right, Greg? I mean, he played 77 games, so he's been starting to play more full season since the injuries. Okay, his 3-point percentage was down, right? 38%. Okay, but field goal percentage was like 43%. You know, in 29 minutes a game, he still averaged 17 points a game, almost 18 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, I mean, that's a good bench piece to me.
Sure it is.
Right. Especially with the Batum news, right, Luke? Luke said the Batum news is a killer.
Yeah.
Right. You're right. You're right. You get that news, and you're like, oh, man. So you need
not a
wing.
good start, right?
Yeah, I'll take Klay. I'll take Klay because I got a feeling like he could when not that much pressure is asked of him and is on him, especially being older now. Maybe he's fresher.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe that's almost like a positive. Hey, you're a little fresher. Your legs are under you, and you are able to hit those big shots. Spell said sign PG and Klay and get Oubre and the rest. And the rest I said. Everyone forgets Sixers were a top East team before Embiid got hurt. Well, that's every year. Spells, right, babe? You know what I mean? Like Embiid's my son, but come on, it's every year for best top team in the East, and then Joel's out for a significant period of time. Like, how long can we keep having that conversation? That's why I guess like getting George and having him with Maxey, if Embiid does go out for any period of time throughout the regular season, you're still really competitive. Yeah. Especially if you think Tyrese takes another step forward, like I believe he will too.
He's showing that he's going to, right? He's trending that way. Every year he's played, he's gotten better. So I don't see why he wouldn't. Yeah, and signing Gordon, even though he is kind of that shooter, he's only the minimum, so he doesn't, hurt you from trying to sign Klay as well, if that's what you're doing. You know what I mean?
No, not at all. Not at all, Greg. You got money for everybody at this point. Darryl says Klay, Eric Gordon, and Paul George are all fantastic shooters. They've all known to be fantastic shooters for sure. Gordon this year, 37% from three. Not ideal.
Yeah.
Right. Year before he was 42.
That's where we prefer him.
Every other year it seems like he has a good shooting year from three. So, but he had to play a lot of minutes. 27 minutes for a guy his age is a lot of minutes. Right? To me. It's a lot of minutes. So if you can get him down to like 18 a night.
Oh, yeah.
If you can get him down
that's
like
his money. So, yep.
I think you're getting fresher versions of guys. So if this is what direction you're going, then you got to have that flexibility where you can't ride these guys. So if you're going to go a little bit in the tooth, hey, little tooth, and you got to take it easy on these guys a little bit. Obviously Klay's 34, Gordon's 35. So we know this already. you didn't, now you know.
Yeah.
For some reason, you're like,
we're signing vets in case you didn't realize it.
Yeah, we're just confirming. Just confirming how old these guys are. Right, Paul George last year, 41% from 3. So that's important to us. Again, if we're just counting age, 34. So right, I mean, that's the direction. But then that's why you got to keep first round picks, because I'm not crowning first round picks, but you got to try to find diamonds in the rough.
You got to level it out somewhere.
Yeah, you got to keep bringing in young talent, because you do have Tyrese Maxey, and you have to look towards the future a little bit too. Will says disagree, but I guess I got to get on board since it appears to be happening. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it too. Michael Bailey, what do you think of Miles Bridges from Charlotte? I mean, isn't he like a bad guy though? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I'm not, I don't know.
Yeah, I want to stay away from him.
I do too.
I don't necessarily mind the player, but all the off the court extracurriculars are probably something you want to stay away from.
Yeah, my most intriguing thing now, like if they get Paul George, is like, okay, right, who's going to play the 4? Who's going to be your 2 guard?
Mm-hmm.
And then I said I would love a guy like Clay. Like if you got Gordon, Klay Thompson, Paul George this all season, I'm like, okay, I feel like we got shooters, right? I feel like we got shooters around Embiid and Maxey, and you hope that helps. And then depending on what else you can, but then you still need other starters. You still need a power forward, and you still need a 2 guard. Who are those guys going to be? Because you can't go in thinking those guys are going to be your starting lineup.
No.
So you need to do some things still. There's still a lot to be done, even with Paul George. It's a great addition to what you're trying to do, which is win, right? As like your third piece, but you need more. You need more, and you can't get away with like vet minimum guys in your starting rotation, because I think you're asking for trouble. I think you're really asking for trouble there.
Yeah, you got to put some money behind someone, right? I don't know. Do you? Does Paul Reed make a start? Is Paul Reed a starter at this point?
Does he stretch the floor enough to be a starter? He can't play with his back to the basket.
As a 4, yeah.
Well, he can't play with his back to the basket, and I don't think he can stretch it enough to be a starter. And
because that's what we're dealing with right now, right? I mean, he is in theory your starter.
No, there's got to be other guys, like in free agency. There's got to be other power forwards in free agency. Let's go, Greg. Get on Google.
I'm working on
it. Paul Reed is gone because of $7 million salary. Yeah, Aaron Johnson says. Yep.
Well, it's just not guaranteed. There's no. He very well might be, right? Yes, absolutely.
Luke says Dorian Finney-Smith, a possible name at the 4.
Princess Achua is also another name I've heard.
And wouldn't hate it. Hoodie says, my only thing is giving George the max, only because then we barely have money left over. Like, look what happened to the Suns and Clippers, all that top heavy with no bench. That's my only thing. We need depth. But that's why you got to draft, too. And you're right. You do need a Hoodie. You're not wrong. But like right now, you're all in. So you are trying to get deeper by lower moves, because it's all on those guys anyway. If those guys are healthy together, they're going to be really good. If they're not, then you're going to get exposed. But now having Drummond, the backup Embiid, gives you a little bit more protection than we had last year already. So you're already better there. Now, what else can you do, right? Gordon's better than a lot was coming off your bench last year as well in terms of shooting the basketball. If you somehow get Clay in here and you get Paul George, and you try to find other guys like we just talked about, Princess Achua, right? There's other guys, Dorian Finney-Smith. There's other guys you can still have some. You'll still have money to be able to get a few more guys.
Yeah,
that you're not gonna have. You can't pay a guy $25 million. But you can get guys at $10 million for over a 2 or 3 year window.
Yeah,
you can get guys $15 million.
So Free agent power forwards, obviously Kobe, Robert Covington, Torian Prince, Markieff Morris. I think both Morris brothers are free agents. Precious Achua, Dario Saric, and then we're starting to get into the weeds.
Well, that's not ideal.
Yeah, so the power forward position is definitely lacking, but you had the likes of Pascal Siakam, Patrick Williams, Obi Toppin all sign ginormous deals within the last week.
Adam says you need wings. Yep, that's what we're talking about, though. They're the guys that I just brought up. PG, Clay, wings. Michael said I saw something about Bobby Portis being on the trading block, but I don't know if we can get him. I would love Bobby Portis.
Yeah, well, Milwaukee's in a tough spot, to be honest with you. They got to figure some stuff out, So yeah, it doesn't shock me that the thought of trading Portis is an option out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. I would actually really like that one. Luke says, like a Dario reunion as the 8th, 9-man in a rotation. Wouldn't hate Dario. Yeah. Again, these are some guys that you got to try to go out and get that you can get for cheap, and you hope they fit what you're trying to do, right? At least he brings you some toughness off the bench. Again, can shoot it sometimes. I've always liked Dario. Bring him back home.
Yeah,
bring him back
absolutely.
home.
And yes, confirmed both Mars brothers are free agents.
Yeah, I think I heard about here again with them.
Yeah.
Right. Did you read the same thing, Greg?
Yeah, I heard the rumblings. Yep.
So which one? Both?
Marcus more than Markieff.
Yeah, Marcus again. I would love Marcus back again.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't want to get rid of him in the first place.
Right. Yeah. And I know someone brought up early, Caleb Martin is a free agent. I like that name. Derek Jones like Jr. from Dallas, right? If you want to be like the Knicks, Sadiq Bey from Villanova. These are more small forwards, right? But depending on who you get, then in the East at least, Paul George could probably play a power forward for periods of time, right? It's funny looking at Precious Achua, not that he's like a superstar or anything, but he's only 24, 25 years old.
Yeah,
he's 24, 25 years old.
And that's what make people sell more on what they're doing too.
Yeah.
Like I said, you want to go get some older guys, fine. Mix in some younger guys. Take some flyers.
Jalen Smith, who played in Indiana, only 24 years old. I don't know how many minutes he logged, but kind of to play both ends, as you mentioned, Tommy, right? As we kind of try and win now, but trying to win down the road too. You can find a diamond in the rough by a 1 or 2 year deal. That never hurts anybody.
No,
especially
I would love Morris. You give me Morris and Achua, I'll be really happy there at my 4. I'll say, okay, I feel good about my 4. I feel good about my rebounding, my 3-point production, different things like that at the 4 that I'm looking for. Both of those guys sort of answer that call, and you go older and younger and in the same spot. And again, you take a flyer like we're talking about, and you get what you know from an older vet.
Yeah. And especially in the NBA, right? It's always easier to sign your own players. So, get them in the building before, they take off, per se.
If Clay signs with Dallas, is there anyone you would like to get? Says Joe Hale. At the small forward?
Well, I guess maybe more to shooting guard.
What other twos are out there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch out there. Nothing really that, potentially brings his, Clay's, I don't even want to say upside at this point, right? But track record will go, right? I mean, Buddy Hield, Evan Fournier, Gary Trent, Malik Beasley, Luke Kennard, Gary Harris, right? Those are your tops. Obviously, DeAnthony Melton we've had here. Seth Curry's been brought up.
All right, there's players.
Isaiah Joe. There's definitely players, but no one that's going to bring that name, right? You know what I mean? Isaiah Joe, Shake Milton. Guys we know pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of guys. Luke said it could be anyone. I mean,
Yeah.
really, there's a lot of names out there in those positions. So, like I
Sure.
said, that power forward spot's a little tricky. Not a ton of names out there. So that's where you got to get a little creative. But the 2 guard seems like there's a lot of the same type of guys out there. So you figure out which one of those guys fits you best and what you're trying to do. Might not even need 2 of those guys, to be honest with you. Now I know Gordon plays a little 2 as well. He plays the 2 guard as well, but you still need probably to be 2, 3 deep there. You know, McCain's what a 2, I guess.
Yeah, they probably think of him more as a 2 than a pure point.
Yeah, but he's a shooter.
But he can do both, right?
So you really only need 2 more of those guys than him, really. And if somebody goes down, then obviously he's going to get some more playing time. Or you see if he plays right. If he's good right away, it's good right away, obviously. Yep. And he can take an older guy's spot. Hoodie J says Hunter from the Hawks or John Collins.
Yeah, those are good names.
Who would you rather have, Greg?
I'd rather have Hunter. John Collins kind of rubs me the wrong way from that playoff series where he came out with a T-shirt of him dunking on Embiid before the kitty cat showed his true colors. But John Collins is a really good player as well. But I think both of them probably take a lot to give up to get.
No, they will. Hit the like, subscribe, follow wherever you're watching us at, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You can vote on the poll question. If you have not, Sixers should be all in on Paul George. Agree or disagree. Let us know. You listen, agree, disagree. HD Radio. We're talking about it. Some good, good moves to make you deeper today. Right? There's been some good moves to make you a little bit deeper.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all you're asking for.
Yeah, for sure.
Luke said they even make too much money unless PG takes a pay cut. Yeah, and PG is not taking a pay cut. Spell continues. Jared McCain will be an impact player this year. The kid's a dog. Speaking of dogs, Uber Jr. back. Need it. Trade Paul Reed. Wait, is he back? Did you read that, or are you just saying again you need him back?
I just think he wants Uber back, which I don't think any of us disagree with.
Phil W says, "Good pickup of 4 years might be too much." I guess he's talking about Paul George. Is my guess.
Yeah, I would assume that's a Paul George, and you're not wrong, Phil. It's the price of doing business, right? At this point, it's the price of doing business. Unfortunately, we really don't have any other winning type move options without that, right?
Yeah.
Unless you spread it out, right? Unless you KCP it, unless you Klay Thompson, all the guys 20 million, right? Unless you spread that 70, 80 million, whatever you have around 4 or 5 different guys, right? And hope to piece together. But it doesn't seem like the way we've moved so far this offseason, that's the route they're going to
go. Crumb says, "Do you think Lowry's back too?" He could be. He could be. He put all these bets with some younger guys, I guess. I don't know. But I would love Oubre to come back, but I hope him and the George thing aren't real.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather have Oubre over Clay, per se, even though
I'd rather have Oubre over George, if we're being honest.
Maybe not there, but why not both, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Paul Reed does stink. So,
yeah.
Paul Reed can go. Chinay said if the Sixers sign PG, they'll have a bunch of draft picks to trade. Possible Dow tries to trade for those depth pieces. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, or, he holds on to them, but it all depends on the money. Right? Because what would PG get? 35, 40?
Yeah.
Right? In that range, they have 70 to spend, per se. They spend what, $5 million a year on Drummond. They say he makes 35, then they're at 40. They still got 30 million to go. Right? So you can go get deeper without and not break the bank either.
Yeah.
Phil says, don't want quite rather have Oubre. Yeah, we all agree there. Murph, what up, Murph? He says, agree to the poll. I do see Paul Reed moved. Maybe Utah with a second-round pick for Jordan Clarkson as a six-man. Oh, I would love that.
Danny Ainge. I love the thought, Murph. Great idea. Great name. But Danny Ainge ain't taking that deal. I wish you would. Jesus, I wish you would.
50 mil a year, Ethan says. Okay. So that's fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, what we signed up for, right?
20 mil a year you got. Be smart with it, babe. Sadiq Bey, not a bad name. I like Sadiq. Cheaper, like we're talking about. Definitely guys you can get cheaper. Keith, I was hoping. I was hoping. Oh, my God. Yeah, it is.
Times 4. Oh,
it is. It's the cost of doing business. You're right, Martian. It is what it is. Yep. This is where we're at.
And it's kind of funny, though, that we're in this spot, right? Because and I know they're different players, right? But you essentially moved on from James Harden because you didn't want to sign him to an aging deal because he was older, getting and aging. And now you're going to turn around and flip and sign Paul George to more money, and be essentially the same player.
Was he getting a max deal is the question.
I think that's the only way he opts out.
Well, what was he getting this year? 48?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that.
I just wish you could front load stuff. Get guys 50. Give him 35 a year.
48.7.
Yeah, so he's maxing. There's no question. He's maxing. He's maxing out. But listen, it is what it is. Michael, I know. Michael McNeil says, he's 34 years old, bad knees, and we're not getting the Pacers PG. We're getting the Clippers PG. There's a big difference. No, there is. There definitely is. Molly says you can still sign them 50 mil and they'll roughly 18 million in cap if they trade Reed. Yeah. So you still have some money to do some things. And this is why drafting and guys like Ricky Council, you hope take steps forward, right? And this is why those things are important because you can do it both ways if you're drafting well and you're developing guys well, right? And you're finding role players or you're finding guys that develop in the really good starters in this league. Make sense, Greg?
Absolutely. And if they end up doing this, he hasn't signed yet. It wouldn't shock me if they ended up trading the kid they just drafted, McCain, right, to try and free up even more money. Because how much
money he's making.
I think that frees up $3-5 million in what he was going to do. Maybe it's harder now that the draft is already done, right, and everything, but
I wouldn't trade him.
I wouldn't either. I'm just saying in order to free up money.
Trade him now. I don't think they trade him now. I think that's over. I don't think they're, because the $3-5 million isn't big enough. That's why you trade Reed. That's why you trade Reed and you try to get some stuff back for him, maybe, right? And then you trade some other picks for other guys.
I hear you. But if we all think Paul Reed stinks, what do you think the NBA thinks of him?
Well, he got money last year, so the NBA pays a lot of guys who stink money.
Yeah, can't argue that.
Yeah, we got Eric Gordon 5 years too late, too. Martian, we would love Clarkson, but I don't think Reed. Reed in the first might get you Clarkson.
Yeah,
at this point of his career, but maybe Reed in the second, like Greg said. Chen said, I think they drafted McCain to be a part of the rotation because they intended to get a point guard. They might
get PJ.
And then they get PJ. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
They may have.
I agree. I'm just wondering, if they end up becoming tied up for money, how do they get it again, right?
I don't know.
And I get it, and I agree, Paul Reed, but it's not guaranteed, so his money really isn't on the books right now.
It is not. Our poll question, you can still vote on it. Sixers should be all in on Paul George. Agree or disagree? Let me get you some results. All right. Let me get a few results here.
Stat it up.
We are at agree 72%, disagree 28%. So you got a lot. We didn't really move too much. We moved a little bit, but
yeah,
most people know that this is the bed we made.
Yeah.
Well, not us, but this is the bed the Sixers made. We're not guilty of the bed, but you got to be in. You got to be in. Yep, Martian chips push to the middle, baby. That's what you're doing. Slide them in. I'm all in. I'm on, because what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, I'm on the disagree side as well, but the well's drying up. So, what are your other options for those 22% that are disagrees? What are your options? Because I want to jump to your side. I truly do.
It's like, I don't think we love losers. I just think PG is the best thing that's out there right now. And like what you're set up to do, you're only set up to spend money. You don't have players to trade. You have picks, and that can get you some rotational pieces, I'm sure. Right? But you got to be all in it. You can shoot the three. Shot at 41% last year. So that's what you're looking for. If he can get hot from three for you and shoot and make wide open threes, and he's a guy who can create his own shot still, right? Let's not act like he can't. So he's still a good player. Is he $50 million? No. But you know, would I love to get him for 30? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, 30, I pay. Yeah, 30. But it's the price of business. And Laurie is better, Blitz, but you're not getting them because you don't have who are you trading?
Yeah. And I love Laurie. I love the name, but let's call a spade a spade. He's injured a lot too. He's been on the injured list a lot.
Yes. KZ said PG and Eric Gordon is good so far. PG's salary is still a problem. It's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But it's a better problem than I would say Tobias was. Versus what would it take? I mean, to get Ingram or marketing players.
Well, Ingram a lot less than marketing.
But still players.
But yes.
And picks. So, you know, you just
pre-draft it was rumored that it would take 2 firsts to get Ingram just because of he's on an expiring deal, right? So there's not a lot of length to that. And to me, that's intriguing for a guy like Brandon Ingram because it's kind of like a no-brainer, right? Like you get a test run almost for Brandon Ingram, right? Again, another guy that's often injured, has been on a bunch of losing teams as well. So again, there goes that. But you get a free trial. You get a free trial for him, right? If he doesn't pan out, you're only on the hook for 2 firsts. If it does pan out, then you have the opportunity to sign him, long term if you want to.
No, you're right. You're right. So I mean, yeah, PG played 74 games this year. So if we get him, he shot 41% from 3 and 47% from the field. Playing about 33 minutes a night. Playing all over. 5 boards, 3.5 assists, a steal and a half. So I would say that's a guy who can still play. And even in the Mavs series, like I get it. He had a bad last game, right? Because he was 2 for 10 from 3. But he was 2 for 6 from 3 in the game before, 7 from 10 and 1 for 6, 2 for 5, 4 for 12. So he wasn't like the worst player ever.
Right.
I mean, like I'm not saying he was great in that series, but he wasn't like the worst player ever.
He wasn't scoreless.
Yeah, he was not scoreless.
Deciding game.
I mean, listen, Johnny, member for 37 months, you're the best, brother. He said if we had Paul George this year instead of Tobias, we would have been in the Eastern Conference Finals. Maybe. You could be right. It's hard to say no to that when one guy scored 0. Saying guy says, I love weed. Hey, I love weed. He said he's not the same dude. He's not the same dude that I just gave you the numbers from last year. I mean, I don't think that's the same dude we're getting. James Jackson, Super Chat, says Laurie Markin is a guy I'll go all in for. He's a perfect fit. They wanted Reed last year. Take him and all our future picks. Great show, boys. He's it. That's it. That's it for James. That's it.
James, I mean, when you put it like that, then I'm in.
Yeah, not against that either. Like, again, I'm not all in for PG, but they have to be. They have to be all in unless they have something else better up their sleeve.
Yes.
That's it. That's all we're at here. You can't wait. You can't not do that. You can't not do that. What else are you going to do? What's next year's free agent class, Greg? Go look. Go look while we're at it.
Yep.
Derek says, what's up, boys? What up, Derek?
What up, Derek?
Slick said PG will have you fuming when we went through the same thing with Harden. I know.
100%. We all know this.
Coming, Slick.
We know this.
I know this. Like, I know what's coming.
Oh, there's an interesting name on next year's list.
What? Who?
Ooh. Jamal Murray. He has not signed his his extension with Denver. That was something I was watching the free agency show that they made sure to bring up. Like, Denver is also in a tough spot, and one of those reasons is Jamal Murray has not signed his extension. But you got names: Jimmy Butler, Fred VanVleet, Kyrie, Ben, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum. Now, again, a lot of these are player options, right? But these are the free agents: Jamal Murray, Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, Brunson, John Collins. There's that Collins name. Brooke Lopez, Clint Capella, Brogdon, Aaron Gordon, Lonzo,
yeah,
D'Lo.
A lot of guys.
Yeah. Laurie, and that's where it comes in, right? So kind of Laurie's in that same spot with Brandon Ingram, but obviously Danny Ainge is going to want more than whoever is the GM down in New Orleans.
Yeah, Martian, I'm right with you. We have Maxey. That sets us up for the future. So we have two ways to go. You draft guys like McCain that you hope can continue to get better, right? And you hope guys like a guy like Ricky Council develops into a really good role player in this league. And you continue to try to keep picks and keep drafting guys while going all in. While saying, okay, we have the money. So instead of trading picks right now, let's spend the money. All right. And if we need to trade picks, then we do it. But right now, we can continue to go all in while our 23-year-old point guard or guard, whatever you want to call him, continues to grow and get better like he does every year. And still try to hit picks, right? Try to hit picks while we're winning. You know, it's been done. It's been done before. You can do it that way. What do you say? McCain gonna be doing the halftime shows too.
Oh boy.
Slick says, Slick's back. I feel like Slick's back, right? He said we're in such a great position. We just need a 2-year stretch of a healthy Embiid. Yeah, that's it. Like, we feel like we're asking for a lot. We feel like we're asking for a lot. We don't ask for a lot. We're just asking for something little here.
Yep.
This is little. This is easy peasy.
And I'm glad he went.
Go ahead.
No, I said I'm glad he went back to that because all this talk means absolutely nothing if Joel's not on the floor, right?
Means absolutely zero.
You're right. Maybe we beat the Knicks with Paul George and no Joel, right? But yeah,
maybe. I don't know how I feel about Joel playing for Team USA right now. How do you guys feel about it? Like, I don't know. I don't have a problem with guys playing basketball. I feel like getting in game shape and staying in game shape is never a bad thing, right? So I'm not going to say I have a problem with it. Like, if he gets hurt anyway, so why not try something different?
That's one way of looking at it.
And try something different. Do anything different. It's like go up without batting gloves, right? Like, just do anything different. You're struggling at the plate. Do anything different.
Yeah. Yeah, I normally wouldn't have a problem with it. I do in this instance, but again, it's all just personal, right? You know what I mean? Because you're right, Tommy. It ultimately doesn't matter. He's going to get hurt anyway.
He definitely will.
But it is going to suck. Watch him absolutely dominate in like the gold medal game, right? Big game, and he absolutely dominates, and we're just sitting here like, please for us.
Maybe he needs to win something.
What do we got to give up? Yeah, maybe. What do we got to give up for you to do that for us? Huh?
I mean, I'm really like reaching here, you know, really reach around. Hoodie J says facts, Tom. Yep. John says he won't get hurt in the Olympic Games. He'll get hurt only in March and April. Yeah. Yeah, Phil. I think, he wants to win something, and I sort of want him to win something, and maybe that helps the growth.
Pops,
right? It's never a bad thing playing around the best players in the world.
That's for sure.
It's never a bad thing to be surrounded by a lot of guys who have won, etc. You know what else? You know what is a bad thing? The amount of people watching over on YouTube, all right, and only 29 likes.
Oh,
hit the damn like, hit the subscribe.
Come on.
I mean, what are you doing? Come
we
join
can't have
us.
nice things.
This is why we don't win.
Pound that like. Let's go.
James just did this. He said no jokes, just in Embiid for like the last month and just pray. We just did it.
We did.
He just got hurt, and he came back, and he was hurt, and he got hurt again. Like, we essentially just did it. We all thought it was the perfect setup. We all did. We're like, oh, this is it.
He came back with a 3D printed knee, and all things were off.
Boomer's not ready for the fingernail polish. Yeah, listen, nobody will give a rat's ass if he's stroking.
Oh, if he's diamond, we
And
don't
I mean,
give it anything.
And Marshall, I mean threes. You know what I mean threes. I just want to confirm that. We'll get that out there. But we'll be like, all right.
Do you, boo-boo?
Yeah. And the guy played well in big games.
He did.
He did. So, I mean, I like picks like that. Guys who show up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I want guys who show up. I think Drummond's such a big pickup, too. Like, Drummond's a big pickup. We need that guy to play behind Embiid. We need a guy who can go out there and give you 20 minutes some nights.
Yeah.
25. Give you spot starts. Right? And just give you enough production. And he did a really good job that year he was here doing that for him. He really did.
And what else does he also do that we struggled with mightily?
Huh.
Rebound the basketball.
Yep. Rebounds it almost a rebound a minute.
Yeah.
So something we really lacked in the playoffs. I mean, we wanted them last year at the deadline. They wouldn't give it to us.
Yep.
Right?
If he gets 15 to 20 minutes, he's a double-double every game.
Yeah.
He's a double-double. And that is very much needed for this team, especially off the bench.
No, it is. It is. I think it's a really good pickup for all those reasons.
Yep.
Bench, if he needs a start, and especially with the guys he's playing with, he'll just fit in and bring production.
Yep.
I think they did have a good draft. I do like McCain and Bona is like he's a guy with maybe some upside.
Yeah. The excitement from the kid, it was all you need to hear, though, right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. The excitement and the willingness to just, I'm in, I'm ready, right? I love Joel, right? You love hearing that from those types of kids.
No, you're right. You're right. You just want to get him in the door. And like I said before, Rico Hines is really good at what he does. They got a good player development crew over here right now with Nick Nurse staff. So you're hoping that you can help some of these guys develop fast, right? If they can develop fast and give you production in a year or two, That's big.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to do. I'm not crowning second round picks or even middle first round picks, right? But with the picks you have and those Clippers picks down the road, you're set up to still be able to be in a good spot, right? Because you're going to talk about having Maxey when those Clippers picks come up at like 27 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. Guys in his prime, and you could be drafting a guy at 2.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like it's now or never, but it doesn't mean never. It's almost now and you can have it later. It's actually crazy. Most things don't operate like that. I'm not saying Maxey's going to be a star, but he gets better every year. He's closer to growing into that than he is the opposite way.
Yeah.
Yeah, biggest additions by subtraction is Tobias Harris. And you bring in Paul George, he obviously gives you way more production than Tobias Harris. As much as we can get on Paul George. But I think the whole LA thing was a mess. I think him playing with Maxey is going to be better than playing with anybody over there. That's my opinion. I think him playing with Maxey isn't the thing we talk about enough either.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a really good 1-2 punch too. Even with no Embiid. If Embiid missed something, you're like, that's still a good 1-2 punch. We should be able to fight. We should be able to fight. We have enough scoring.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to bring that consistency that we begged for from Tobias, right? You know what I mean? When we talk about when Joel's off the floor, or even when Joel's hurt, right? We talk about that consistency that we just begged for from Tobias year after year after year. Like, I don't need you to drop 30 a night, but can you give me 15 every night? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can you give me 20 every night? He is going to do that, right? He's definitely going to do that. So that is 100%. That is an upgrade over Toby for sure.
I wonder how many times he scored over 30 this year. See one. I'm gonna find that out.
Let's see here.
Let's check it. Oh, there's some times. Sunday, 4-7, he scored 39. He scored 41, 31, 29. I mean, these are all more than Tobias
Over 30,
ever.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, 11 times over 30. That's a lot more than Tobias Harris. So
and if we go 25 or more, we're at 30.
In 74 games, that's a lot more production than Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Simple as that. Yeah, he scored 33 in the playoffs too. So way more than Tobias.
And only 9 of those games at 25 or more were losses, right? So he was 21-9 as a team, right? So it's not like they're hollow stats, it seems like. You know what I mean? Where he's scoring 30, 40 points, but they're losing.
No, you're right, Greg. And the fact that like James is saying, he isn't afraid to shoot either.
Yeah.
Right. So many guys are afraid to shoot.
Even up to 11, he was 7-4. As the Clippers were 7-4 in games he scored at 30 points or more.
Yeah. He started plus in LA. PG was there to be second behind Kawhi, who was never there, and then he would have to beat option 1. He would be 2A, 2B with Maxey behind and Joe. Yeah, and it became Hannon and Harden. Yeah, it's not an easy guy to play with. Not an easy guy to play with either.
No, it's not.
Luke says he thinks these moves signal Buddy is gone. Maybe, which is crazy because you gave up capital for him in a way, and you don't bring him back. So just telling you they learn from their mistakes that it didn't work, if that's the case. Doesn't mean he's definitely gone though. But I think they're going to be looking for a little bit of everything. They're going to be looking for defense. They're going to be looking for more 3-point shooters. I think they're going to try to get enough guys in here that they feel like can create their own shots. And once they feel like they have enough of those guys, then they're going to build around it. So that's the way they're going to do here. Marshall, I don't think he's gone yet. I don't think he's gone yet. Now the PG news is
He's not officially gone, no.
the PG news I don't like, but I would love to have Oubre back. And I think Ricky Council's going to give you some good minutes this year too, from a younger guy. At least I'm hoping he does, because at least he brought energy. I feel like you need young guys like that to step up.
You do. And they gave him the money, right? Not like we were hard pressed to sign him, but they felt like they did right before the playoffs to then never play him.
Yeah. Yeah. Casey said Paul George stinks in the playoffs, but he'll be in a better position with the Sixers. Some nights he can just be relegated to catch and shoot threes. They got to figure it out. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't stink. He's just not $50 million. He's not going to be MJ in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Mike says Miles Bridges. No, we talked about it earlier. Doesn't do anything for me. James says Ricky Council season. Let's go. Luke says longer Oubre stays unsigned, better for us. No question about it.
Yeah. And
no question about it.
And especially, too, because I think Oubre is representing himself, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh.
Which I think is even better for us.
No news yet, Bradley, on Oubre or Lowry. You know, we know there's been a lot of talks early on that they wanted both of those guys back. So I would still assume, even with the moves they made, that what they need on their roster, they would want both of those guys back. Right? They need more guard play off their bench, obviously, and they need more. They need more wing help for sure. Absolutely need more wing help. Who just signed with CAA?
He might be talking about Oubre. But I know the talk was at the end of the year he was representing himself, and people were asking if that was going to hinder him or whatever. So maybe he got smart and signed with CAA.
KZ says that's why it's important PG takes a pay cut. He won't. That's the problem.
Yeah, can't imagine he is.
Yeah, Lowry can't get the boot, Slick. I'm fine with either way, right? I would like some other guys. You know, I would like some other guys. We named all the other guards that are out there. There's some good names.
Yeah.
Martian says CAA, that Dell company. Bradley says big fan from Louisiana since 1980s. Thanks for checking in, brother.
Awesome. Thanks, Bradley.
I don't want to say checking in because you're a big fan. So, but thanks for commenting in. KCP said KCP would have been a perfect fit. That was my second biggest one free agency. Yep. Just signed.
Is he gone?
Yeah.
Oh, where'd he go?
Where'd he go? Dallas? No. No, I don't know if he went to Dallas. Hold on. Magic.
Ooh.
Magic. KCP to the Magic.
We lost out on them for the Magic. Yeah. I would have loved KCP. Everywhere he goes, he wins.
What up, Don? What up, Don?
Donnie.
Sadiq Bey? Should we go get Sadiq Bey, Donnie? What do you think about Sadiq? Is Sadiq a good fit here in Philly?
How about Monty Williams? He a good fit? He a good coach?
Yeah, that's a lot of money too. $22 million a year. I mean, some of these guys are getting paid. You know, he's in a really good spot too. He'll still be in a really good spot in Orlando. But that's a lot of money.
Sure is.
But there's guys out there, man. I mean, there's guys out there that you can get for Drummond money. You know, there's guys out there you can get it for a little bit more than that, where you can get for like, you know, $8 to $10 million a year. All right, there's other guys like Oubre type guys that you can bring in and give you that like little spark for a year. They're like, oh, this is a good signing. You know, you just gotta be good. You gotta be good at your job. If you're gonna go all in like that, then you gotta be really good at your job. And your job is adding enough pieces around those guys and spending your money. Like, you gotta be the smartest guy in the room at times.
Yep.
to be able to give yourself a deep enough bench. So that's that with that. We'll find out tonight at like 3 a.m. Our phones will be going off.
Yeah, tomorrow should be interesting, right? Tomorrow or tonight, right? Wojbomb is going to hit. Well, you're right, like 2, 3 a.m.
Oh yeah,
because all the meetings are happening tonight, right? So, and it's all a matter of if Paul likes what he hears from the Sixers and commits right away, or if he takes additional meetings and follows back up with them. I don't know what would be worse. Like if you're like a Sixers fan, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know either. Not sure either.
Yeah, well, we'll wait. Huh?
Bradley says Covington, when healthy, the solid defender. Yeah, I mean, when he's healthy, thought he could bring us that this year, and he, obviously wasn't on the floor.
Yeah,
but another guy you gotta get for really cheap, low risk, probably lowest reward, but there's probably worse options. Morey always makes his big signings at midnight. Should be official soon. March said PG don't have a choice but to sign LOL. Who else trying to sign him? Yeah.
The Warriors.
Slick says Morey 100% up lurking right now. Wow. Yeah, CP can't even move, James. He said CP to the Spurs, that pick and roll gonna be nasty. Can't move.
Oh, I love that. You count the Spurs out for being good this year. See ya. Couldn't happen to a better franchise.
He'll be hurt.
Go stunt the growth of Wembyana while you're there. I saw that come over. I'm like, why would the Spurs do that? Why, of all people, would you sign that guy?
Yeah. Luke Melton could come back because you're right. He does have injury concerns around the leg, but how many guards you're going to have, it depends. So we'll see what they do that direction. That's going to be interesting part moving forward.
Yeah.
Once they sign Paul George, like what do they do after that?
Yeah. I would definitely prefer Melton over like a Lowry. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
And I'm not saying Lowry was bad for us. I just as mentioned in the comment, right? No, the relationship with Nick is he's coming in to be the starting point guard. And that kind of worries me a little bit.
Yeah, me too. Luke said local reporters saying they haven't heard anything about being out on Batum. Interesting. Yep. Hopefully that was like not like false news, but not the whole news. Yeah, the Rich Paul and Ronnie thing's crazy, but like I don't care, man. Have your son with you. That doesn't bother me. Do whatever you want to do. It's like, yeah, I would hope Batum stays. I think that's so. It's another vet that can give you some production off the bench. Not going to win you a title, but can definitely help you get closer to one. I mean, you're looking to compete with the Celtics, man, and the Knicks. I mean, look around, and the Magic are going to be good, right? Yep. But you're looking to compete with those, and Milwaukee, obviously with Giannis. So how do you compete with those teams? Well, come on. You need as many pieces around these guys as possible.
Yeah, I was bummed to see that Batum tweet come out. Hopefully it was just a jabroni playing jabroni games at an important time.
Don says you see Jared McCain get insignificant minutes in his first year. I think it depends all the health around him. And I think it depends on how he plays. I mean, maybe, but I would doubt it. But I don't want to ever count that out. But Nick's different than other regimes here in terms of young players. So I think if he feels like he can play and he contributes and he's smart and he understands the offense and he understands what's going on, then yeah, why not? Why not? That's how I look at that. It's hard to answer because obviously he could have been a lottery pick. And you would say, all right, if he's a lottery pick, then yeah, more chance than not, he can come in and start right away. But you know, he's essentially is a lottery pick. You know, some guys went ahead of him. I mean, he's a freshman had a really good year. So there's upside. I don't think he has like the create your own shot necessarily all the time capabilities or that quickness, but the ability to flat out shoot it, you know, I think he can allow you to play right away. You know, again, if you know some of those other things.
Yeah, I think from what I'm hearing all the chatter around him, I think they hope that he plays significant minutes. I think it's going to be like his career at Duke. You know, he's going to obviously fight and struggle to start, but once he finds his rhythm and finds his legs, I think he potentially could, you know, probably be your 8th, 9th man off the bench, right? He's not going to be your sixth man, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think he definitely could potentially play minutes for this team.
Luke said on team playing 3 stars, heavy money McCain will have a relatively big role next year. Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't say like big role, but maybe get, you know, 12 minutes a night type stuff early on. And if he plays well, earn more minutes.
Yeah.
Type situation. All right, Greg. Do we want to go Phillies, Marlins? Really not much to talk about there.
No, just good salvage of a split today.
Yeah.
You know, not much though.
No, not much. Not much. Getting close, getting up to the All-Star break. Big stretch coming up. We'll obviously talk about it more on Wednesday night too, I'm sure. Yep. And we'll probably find out about Paul George as soon as we sign off.
That's the way it'll go.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a crumb of the week?
I got a bunch of crumbs actually.
Crumb away.
Usually I struggle. I struggle with finding crumbs, but let me see here. So first of all is going to be the NBA. First of all, you went to two days on the draft, and then your second day, which no one watches the second round anyway, but your second day is going to be at like 4:00 in the afternoon. Like you literally went to 2 days just for nothing. Like, what a joke, right?
Yeah.
What an absolute joke. Yeah. Like just add another hour after the first round. Like it's when you didn't even put any TV production, right? You know what I mean? Like you go to 2 days to for the pomp and circumstance. There was no pomp and circumstance. Yeah. I'm at work and it's like 4:00. There's trade, draft picks going off. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
I feel like I'm better. I feel like I look better than half the picks.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the other side of it too. Like, good Lord. The Rich Paul thing definitely is crumb worthy. I don't have a problem with Bronny trying to, with LeBron, or I don't have a problem with Bronny, right? Or LeBron trying to play with his son. But if I'm any one of those GMs that got a call from Rich Paul saying, hey, don't draft him, I'm trading up in front of LA and drafting him 100%.
Yeah, if I wanted him.
I don't even care if I want him. I'm calling that bluff, and he can go to Australia for all I care. And it's not fair to the kid, right? Kid did nothing wrong. But it's just the antics. Go to Australia then. Take daddy with you. Who cares? But my biggest crumb is Mr. Jim Schlossnagel, the now new head coach at the University of Texas baseball. They lost the national championship game or series, and he berated a reporter for asking him about the job at Texas that was coming open, or that was open, and his rumored interest in it. Berated him, told him how selfish of a question that was to ask, blah, blah, blah. How dare you think, he asked me that. I moved to Texas A&M to never take another job. And then less than 12 hours later, you're announced as a new head coach at the University of Texas.
Yeah, if you want to say, hey, I'm just not going to answer that right now.
100%.
Not the time to answer it, right?
Hey, we just lost a game.
Yeah.
Let's worry about the future tomorrow.
Yeah, don't
berate a reporter for doing his job when in the back of your mind that you know that you're taking it.
Agree.
And then wonder why people are up in arms over what you did.
I couldn't agree more.
So that's my biggest crumb of the week right there.
No, it is. It is. My crumb is anybody who's going to run out there, run around saying, McCain can't play because of the other things, because of TikTok or because of painting his nails or because of any of those types of things. Right. And I'm just not going to assume he can't play. We're going to find out. We'll find out real soon if he can play or not. But I'm not going to let that be my judgment on him.
Yeah.
So I was just reacting too quick because, I get it. I get it. What was on the board. I understand it. But we still got a really good young player that, if he stays another year, he is a lottery pick per se.
Yeah.
So, don't necessarily judge the book by the cover, babe, on how a guy can play or not play. Because on the court, he looks tough. And I'm not a big Duke guy, but on the court, he looks tough. So let's call that how we see it. Let's call it how we see it. All right, Greg. Great shit tonight.
Always.
I'm sure PG will sign on the way out.
Yep.
If you haven't.
Alert.
If you haven't, hit the like, subscribe, follow, join the conversation. Comment in after the fact as well when it does break. And the poll, 73% agree to the poll on the way out.
On our way out, get us over 50 likes. Let's go.
Let's go. Get us over
7
100.
away. 7 away.
7 away. Pound the like, hit the subscribe. Sixers should be all in on Paul George. 73% agree. So it's a good number.
Yeah.
Good number. Let's see. Alert will come at 3 a.m. Appreciate the Woj bomb late in the evening. Appreciate everybody chiming in. Some new names haven't seen before. So hit that subscribe. Stay with us. Turn your alerts on. Me and Greg will see you again Wednesday night on HUD Wednesday nights, and it should be a fun one. We should have a lot more of it. We should have more understanding of the direction the Philadelphia 76ers are going. And Philly's got some big games coming up without some big pieces. So hopefully they can tread some water here. Begging for a raft. Get him a raft.
Yeah.
Get him a raft. We're out of here. We love you. 10-9.